sir with Pontypridd. Breed. Can I take your order, please?
Welcome to the Gibbons Talks Boxing YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you've not done so already. As you can see, I am joined by Swansea fighter James "Lights Out Lilley. Good to see you, James. It's been a while.
It has, mate, isn't it? We were touching base like last lockdown. I don't even know where we are anymore, mate. I just don't think it's 2019, to be honest.
Well, last time I spoke to you in person, you were a normal sort of crazy type guy who just did boxing, bare knuckle boxing, MMA, or basically any type of fight you can get your hands on. But these days, you're a poet as well, I believe.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mad situation, really, because I've always written poetry and stories and stuff like that. I've done a couple of articles for Di Owen when he had what was his website called? Dragon Boxing, was it?
Something like that, don't it?
Yeah, I wrote a couple of articles under a pseudonym, and yeah, I've always done it. I just thought it was like a little bit of a hobby and just something I've done because I'd done it since I was a kid. Like I won like a competition or something when I was a kid, and I just always done it. Just never showed anyone. Just carried on, like just writing on my PC and work. And last summer, then when none of the gyms are open, it wasn't like this year where you can do takeaway pints and all that. It was everything was closed. So when everyone was staying in the house last year because everyone thought like they would die and stuff, and I just sat down and said, right, I'm gonna write a book. So started writing. Then I was like, I don't know where I'm going with this. I don't know if my characters are any good because I do a lot of reading. So I started speaking to this guy from Swansea who had his own poetry magazine and started following like different poets and publications on Twitter. And then he was like, "Oh, why don't you stick some stuff over and see if it's any good?" And I thought, right, this is my make or break, because if I chuck it over and it's rubbish, I know I just been, it's it's like me trying to be like an astronaut. I can pretend to be an astronaut as much as I want, but unless you take the leap and then try and go through the train or whatever, you're just gonna have this nagging doubt. So I chucked a couple of poems over, didn't expect anything, got an email back, and 2 out of the 3 got accepted. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna put them in the magazine." So then it just kind of snowballed from there. I started getting in all these other different, because the only like poetry I kind of knew was like Dylan Thomas and R.S. Thomas. It was like stuff we done in school. And then I started finding all these other like online magazines, like American publications, and there was like dark, gritty stuff. So I was like, oh, so I read quite a lot of horror. Like I'm into like crime fiction and horror fiction. So I was like, oh, I'll write a couple of these, and they got accepted, and then it just kind of snowballed, and I find myself getting sort of published like every other week now.
And it's fair to say, I think your style of poetry is generally quite dark and quite. I think I WhatsApped you this morning. I described your poetry as chilling.
Yeah, well, I was like, I wanted my own type of style, and like I'm a massive horror fan, right? So I've read pretty much all like Stephen King's books. I love like that type of thing. So I wanted all my poetry to have like an underlying like sense of like dread or horror in the background. So whenever I was like writing, because the only poetry I knew was to write about like thunderstorms over Swansea Bay or like Dylan Thomas type stuff. So I was writing all this poetry, and the first poem I said, he said, "Oh, your poetry's got this." Editor from Swansea said, "Your poetry's got a disturbing element to it. It's like it's not quite, it's not in your face disturbing, but there's like an underlying factor,
subtle,
yeah,
undertones."
Don't get me wrong. When I started writing for a couple of other American ones, it did go like straight in your face, dark straight away. About like junkies or like murders and stuff. It's just stuff like you see on TV, and yeah, it just took off from there. I won Versification. It's like an American magazine. I won their Poet of the Year. They call it Punk of the Year. Got a book deal with Close to the Bone. It was mad. Like it all happened within like 6 months.
So where can people find your poetry if they want to read some of your work?
Well, in the beginning, I only had like 3 or 4 places being published, but I've had nearly sort of since we started last August. I think I'm up to about 42 or 43 poems published now. So I got like a link on my Instagram, my Twitter. It's called like Linktree, and it's got all the links it goes to. There's some still like that haven't come out yet, and there's some you can only get in book form. You'd have to buy the books because they're in people's like anthologies. Like I got accepted by someone, and when I looked at it, it was a Canadian press, and they released a book with one of my poems in, like, and it's someone in Canada. Like, it's mad. Yeah. So, you okay, Ruby? What's the matter? Bella's downstairs. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm just doing a little interview. I'll be down now, okay? Okay, you must be quiet then, okay? Because we're talking to a man about, well, we're talking about this key run. We're going to talk about fighting, but it's talking about poetry, really. You see?
Hello. How are you?
Yeah, so so it took off quite a bit, and as I said, like I'm writing quite regularly now, and yeah, it's just a whole new world. Like,
So is you mentioned a book deal? Is that a book deal just for your poetry?
yeah, so I got speaking to a poet. She's a regular contributor to this American magazine. She messaged me and said, "Oh, I really like your poem. Have you ever thought about putting a collection together?" And I was like, "Oh, look, I've only written like 20 poems at the minute." And she was like, "Look, just keep writing, put some stuff together, and submit to this guy," which is a guy called Stephen Goulds. So I started speaking to him, and he said, "Oh, look, they run a series. It's called First Cut and Second Cut. So they pick 12 books over the year, one a month." And I got picked for the second series, so I missed out on the first series because I was late submitting. So I was going to be the first in January. Shush you. I was going to be the first book in the second series next year. A few things are up in the air at the moment. There's a change of ownership going with the publisher, so it might come under a different publisher name. But yeah, so it looks like the book should be coming out towards the end of the year.
Okay, well, that's great to talk to you about your poetry, but I'm guessing most people will have tuned into the interview to talk about your fighting.
You've lost about 1,000 viewers.
People are unsubscribing. They got the wrong channel. You got a fight date coming up. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so I had something in the pipeline for May. I was going to go over to Sweden to fight in this it's like a bare knuckle type thing. And it was all set to go. It was a little bit early, to be honest, from my injury. I wasn't expecting to fight that early, but with all the lockdown going on, no one knows what's happening. I just thought, take a chance. But we decided not to risk it. The promoter paid for my flights, my COVID test, but there was no guarantee you could get through customs going both ways. Even with like a work letter, they might be frowning on it. So we decided not to go ahead with it. So then I spoke to BKB, and they asked if I wanted to be on the 3rd of July show. So yeah, SCOTT McHUGH for the British title. I was meant to fight him last April, but COVID happened. Then it got rescheduled for June when the lockdown got lifted. The O2 was told they were going to be allowed to put on shows, but what they didn't realize was it was going to be at like, I think it was like 20% capacity. So they decided not to do that. Then September, when we were still in lockdown, the show was rescheduled, and then it locked down again. And then November, they were going to do a lockdown show, and I snapped my Achilles spar and like a freak injury. So the gods obviously didn't want me to fight in 2020. So I didn't.
So you're fighting SCOTT McHUGH. What can you tell us about Scott?
He's a good lad. Me and him I know him, like, the BKB pool of like the regular fighters is quite small. So the guys who do it quite a lot, who've had over like 2 or 3 fights, they all know each other. They're like, it's like the UFC days in the beginning. You all know each other. You're all in the same changing rooms. So me and him get on. We speak all the time, and he obviously fought Rocky Morgan, but yeah, he's a good fighter. He's improved since his first couple of fights, and he's fought some good boys. He's only 2 losses against Rocky Morgan and Tony Lafferty, who were both experienced fighters. And he's game, like, you know, he can box, he can fight. So it's gonna be a tough fight. You know, there's no, and he's 6 foot, which is, I hate fighting tall people, like, so.
And at what weight is the fight made?
They call it bantamweight, but it's like 73 kilos, something like that, 72.5.
And what weight do you at the moment, if you don't mind me asking?
Is there a way to stop certain people watching this video?
No.
Right, then no, I'm not. I'm 77 kilos right now.
Okay.
No, to be honest, I ballooned up. You know, I was touching like 86 kilos just when I had my boot off, because I was doing cardio, like, but it wasn't like extreme cardio. I could do stuff with my boot on, and I was doing a lot of weight. So like, I bulked up a bit then, and I know I was just eating rubbish. It was so easy just to eat rubbish and not be motivated. But then when we thought we were fighting in Sweden, I started dieting stuff again, and I got down to about 81 kilos. I haven't weighed myself recently because I had a week and a half off because we knew the fight was off. We were waiting for the gyms to open so we didn't have to keep showing our letters off the council, and I got recalled to work and finished working in COVID testing. So we were just, you know, I had like a week off dieting, a week off the gym, and just getting back to it.
On the show on July 3rd, I'm right in saying there's crowds going to be there? Is it full attendance or? Yeah,
so I've had to put a video up on Instagram because loads of people messaged me. We can only go by, like, you know, like the promoters of BKB don't know. It's not like, you know, Eddie Hearn, who's got like, you know, he's in with the boxing board and the government. We've been told the English restrictions end on the 21st of June. So on the 21st of June, you can have any capacity. The O2, I've got to make the O2 COVID safe before they can open. So that's why the show is going to be on July the 3rd, because that was the earliest they could do it. So I think what they're going to probably have to do is the lateral flow tests.
Yeah.
So you do that, takes 15 minutes. And then obviously if you're negative, you can go in the show. If you're positive, you've probably infected everyone in the O2. So you got to leave. But that's what I think is going to happen. Yeah, but I don't know. You know, the government could throw a span in the works, but this time BKB have got the black up plan in. Kids.
So with that in mind, are you actively selling tickets at the moment for this show?
Yeah, I put the link up. They can't get hold of the tickets are directly through the box office this time. Last time, like, BKB used to be able to purchase a lot off them and then give them out to fighters as paper tickets. But at the minute, they're not allowed to do that. I don't know if it's because you can transfer COVID on paper. I don't know. But it's all going to be on QR codes. If anything goes wrong with the show, the O2 box office can refund you straight away rather than you saying, oh, this fight owes me 40 quid for my ticket. I can't use my ticket. You know, you don't have to chase the promoters. You don't have to chase the fighters. It's just going to be a straight QR code with the box office.
Yeah. So, how long is is this the longest you've never fought in your life since you started boxing, schoolboy boxing?
No, there was when I got to about, I think it was 23, 24, I had about 3 years off in between. I done my elbow in doing an MMA fight, and then my license expired. I was between jobs, and I just moved in with my my wife. Like, but yeah, it was just a period in thing. I was like still training, but it was just oh god, there's two of them in, you know. Say hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, there's a period then where I didn't fight. See, this is what I got to deal with, mate. They you know. What's the matter? Yeah, it's bedtime now. Don't worry.
So you got a couple of your kids there, James.
Yeah. Oh, you can see you.
Hello.
Yeah.
What do your kids think of you being a bare knuckle boxer?
Well, these two, they don't know any different really. My oldest daughter.
Do they think everyone's daddy's a bare knuckle boxer or a fighter?
What do you think about Daddy Fight then? Yeah, no, I don't think they quite understand what's going on. Like the youngest two, my oldest daughter probably knows a little bit about more, and she's been to the gym quite a lot. I mean, it's different now. I can't take 3 kids to the gym because they cause enough murder in the house. But she knows a little bit more, like my older daughter. But I don't think they think too much of it. I think I'll be. God, he's walked into a door like. Come here, boy. What's the matter? Yeah. You know I'm in the middle of an interview, yeah? Yeah, they don't know any different, mate. I think it's the same as, someone saying they play football or whatever. It's
yeah. That's just what daddy does.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to knock her on the head there, mate? Or are you okay? Carry on.
Yeah, probably best, mate. He's
all
ready to go to bed.
Okay.
Sorry,
No, it's fine, mate. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll do at the moment.
Well, we'll do another longer one whenever, really, mate, and make sure.
Okay. As we can see, James is. We have to throw the towel in because James has been tag teamed by his kids and ref stop contest. So, so it's good to speak to you briefly, James. Hopefully, I'll see you in person sometime in the near future.
Yeah, hopefully, with everything, the restrictions ending, more people can get to the gyms and stuff. So it's not these Zoom calls all the time. It's a pain.
Yeah. And
I can get out of the house now. So.
And hopefully we'll see the return of TTLO as well in the near future.
Oh, maybe, but David, I don't know what he's up to these days.
Well, I don't know. David blames you when you blame David, but
nah. So listen, mate. I made that, man. I'm doing food challenges now anyway, and he will do them.
Okay, well, it's good to speak to you anyway, James, and I'll hopefully see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon, mate. Nice one.
All right, cheers, James. Thanks. Mate.
Hello, so we're Pontypridd. Can I take your order, please?